Mr. Speaker, I want to just take a moment and thank my colleague for his fulsome defense of socialism and historical socialists. I think that was the most intellectually honest piece of debate we've had here on the House floor. And if this resolution would just simply draw out my Democrat colleagues to just say, yes, they're in favor of socialism, maybe this is a worthwhile endeavor. Again, this is not my resolution. It was reported to my committee. We're reporting out this resolution as Ms. Salazar of Florida presented and wrote, because this was the early stages of the House. This came straight to the House floor rather than through the committee markup. It came through the Rules Committee. What I would have preferred in this resolution was a fulsome defense of capitalism and the juxtaposition between that optimistic sense of freedom that is born out of our property rights, our speech rights, our individual liberties in this country that is deeply connected us with an economic system of freedom. And the juxtaposition of that to the misery of socialism. And what the taking of people's individual liberty and centralizing it in government and government control does to economic progress, to the best of humanity, what it does to social outcomes, to the health and welfare of the people, the economic prosperity of the people, and the misery that it begets to those people suffering in those regimes. But what we have here is a history of international moments of terror begat by Putin. It's not in there. He doesn't currently call himself a socialist. But Lenin did, Stalin did, Mao Zedong did, Fidel Castro did, and the list goes on. Then it talks about the loss of human life under those regimes from those socialist leaders. And then the resolve clause I've read before, that Congress denounces socialism in all of its forms and opposes the implementation of socialist policies in the United States of America. I would be happy to work with my colleague on the type of resolution that I outlined, happy to have that come back to the floor in time on something that my Democrat colleagues would actually support, a proper denunciation of the miseries of socialism and a proper embrace of our economic capitalism here in the United States. But that's not what we have before us today. So I'd encourage my colleagues to look what is in the resolution and judge it based off the contents of what's here, not what is omitted. And with that, I would reserve the balance of my time, and my colleague I'm going to yield to close. So we're prepared to close on this side.